So Paula, I really, like I said, I really appreciate you joining me. We've had a nice chat. I feel like I
Yes,
know
we
you. I've known you my whole life already.
have.
Um, but something that I really wanted to like specifically ask you, and as we've been talking, I realize this is really who you are is your at your core. I heard you like describe yourself as a problem solver, like at your core, right?
Yes, I
And
am.
I'm recognizing this as we're chatting more. So I'm curious, because business is such a personal journey. So in founding your business, what is the main problem you've seen your business solve for you personally? And then what is the main problem that your product solves in the market?
Well, let me take the product in the market solving first
Sure.
because I'm not sure what problems it solves for me personally. It probably causes me more on the personal side, but it really truly doesn't. But I'll go into that a little deeper. But my product solves a tremendous problem for the consumer at large because it simplifies the message of something that's normally thought of something difficult, painful, multi-steps, and we've kind of been sold a bill of goods through the years that it takes someone to come in and disassemble your home and tear everything apart and sand and cordon off the whole room and everything to paint a set of cabinets. But because they're asking thousands of dollars to do that, they make it look like a thousands of dollars process. So the new paints and the new paint technologies and the things that my product contains are superior bonding primers built into the paint. Someone doesn't have to go in and put on 3 and 4 and 5 layers of paint to get great coverage and also get great durability. Also, I've helped people solve kind of the color quandary. And they don't have to switch paints to do different jobs in their home. They can paint so many different products, so many different projects inside their house using just one paint. They don't have the leftovers sitting around. Don't you have a garage full of cans of paint in your house?
Tons
So
of
does
them.
everybody. Yep, everybody does. And this helps you just work with smaller cans of paint because it covers so much. It just makes it so much easier, cleaner. There's no smells. Just an easy way to get projects done. And I may sound like I've drank my own Kool-Aid here that I've solved rocket science or something, but my customers are a testament to the fact that it truly does what I say it does. There's very few products today that advertise and over deliver. My product is not like the Olay wrinkle cream that you see everybody saying, "Oh, put this on, you're going to look 10 years younger." I give people an opportunity to get a free sample of the paint, get it in their hands. They also get our color card, so if they do like what they've tried, then they can come back and buy more in the luxury of their own home with their feet up, just like we shop on Amazon every day. People want to shop like that today. They don't want to have to go figure out what paint they need and deal with someone in a store. Just taking all of that stress point out, letting people see and also know that they don't have to be a scientist to understand and they don't have to destroy and wreck their home. They can paint and sit down and paint a cabinet a night. They can take it so simple and easy, paint around their animals, their babies, all that kind of thing. So, yes, you can tell I have a little bit of a passion for this business, and I love doing and all of the things that this business has brought to me has been a great a financial reward, obviously, but just a great pleasure to know that I've been able to help a lot of people get to change their environment. And every day I hear it from people who use our products that this product helped them, even though they may not have had the money to tear out and have a new kitchen. They can paint their countertops. They can just literally paint their appliances, even using one paint and one technology. So they really, really love it, and they tell me so.
And you give them, it sounds to me like you give them the ability to make those decisions quickly and
Yes,
cheaply versus
I
having
do.
to talk to contractors. And
I do.
like if my wife was here, she would, I mean, she has so many paint projects she wants to do that I
Mhm.
just, you know how it is. But now it seems like you're simplifying the process down to the most basic part,
Yes,
like the basics, so that really anybody can do this, and you could
yes.
do it on your own time without
Mhm.
paying for supplies and then another $3,000 for contractors.
Exactly, and that's why it works so good. People can see instantly. They'll have someone come in. Sure, no one wants to choose to paint it themselves, but when they get a bid for $6,000, $7,000 to paint their kitchen cabinets, a lot of people are out of the market. Then they just have to look at it and live with it. But once they know that they can do it for a couple of $100, and I'm going to give them a paint sample to test, they can start in a little
Mm.
vanity or in their utility room or a piece of furniture in the garage. They go, you know what? That stuff is as durable as she said it was, and it literally doesn't have brushstrokes when I finish. It's beautiful. I can do this. It gives people confidence, and it also enlightens them to understand they don't have to live with anything anymore they don't like. So there's a great beauty in that. So
Oh,
for
well,
sure,
there's beauty and simplicity. right? Like you
Yes.
said, small product line. I think 36 colors.
36 colors, and we introduce new colors all the time and kind of preclude a few others, but we're actually coming around to some other innovations I've added into my business in the last bit, to where we're not ever discontinuing colors, that we can always keep them and mix custom colors for people. Lots of new things that we're coming out with, and helping people get exactly what they
Mm,
want in my product, because they ask, can you get X color in that all-in-one paint? And well, have to say no to that, but there's coming a time when we don't, very soon.
amazing. Yeah. So I want to get into some of the e-commerce stuff because
Sure.
I know that's really at the core of your business. But before we segue into that, obviously you're really an innovator, quasi inventor in the
I
paint
am.
space, right?
Yeah.
And obviously business practices are difficult, specifically as we were discussing on the e-commerce end. But it sounds to me like you have a very detailed R&D process, right? For it, and
I
that
do.
seems to me like where the real difficulty is, right? Actually crafting the product. So can you
Sure.
explain what that's like and some of the difficulties and ultimately, how you really created an all-in-one paint where anybody can use it
Hmm.
simply. That's no small feat.
Well, it always begs to reason here. How did I get into this? Because I'm not a
Yeah,
chemist.
why
You don't
paint?
hold any chemical
Yeah,
degrees
exactly.
whatsoever. Matter of fact, I didn't even graduate high school. Just throw that out
Don't
there.
need it. You don't need it.
No, I think you just have to have the ambition and desire to seek
Sure.
things out and figure them out. So, always know how to align yourself with smarter people than you are, and that's exactly what I did. Early on, I started off making a simplified product that's not the product I sell
This is
today.
the chalk based.
The chalk-based paints
Got it.
where I
Okay.
started, and that was a paint that I found someone here in Louisville, and they started making that product for me, and I sold it on eBay. Was the first place,
Mm.
first e-com place that I sat at was there, and my goal was to sell $100 in product a day. My son was a teenager; he would come home from school, and I really did this for he and I, for something for he and I to kind of bond over. And he was kind of upset at me for moving him to Louisville, Kentucky, to put him in a school here that he really hated. But nevertheless, it was a good move, and he's happy about it today. So we started doing that, kept his little hands busy, his mind busy, and put the product over on eBay. And as it began to kind of grow, I was like, wow, I believe people really like painting stuff all of a sudden. And maybe if I keep teaching them how to use these products, this is something that I thought everybody knew how to paint stuff, but they did not. And I forgot about new generations of people don't necessarily teach their children what I had been taught. My mother taught me how to paint stuff, but I realized there was a whole generation of people that had been kind of skipped over and did not realize that they could update furniture and keep the good stuff they had rather than throwing it out. So, all that said, the paint and the chemistry, as of course money is the factor that would keep you and prevent you from going out and hiring a chemist. But as the chalk paint began to sell, I realized early on it was a business I could not scale because it had so many different facets and layers and products, and you had to wax it, and it was a lot of labor involved, a lot of physicality involved, and people didn't understand all the steps they had to take and all that. And I thought, I got to simplify this message. So I came up, actually purchased the URL allinOnePaint.com,
It's a great
which,
URL. I
yes,
mean,
that's probably my
that's worth
most
something in and
valuable
of itself.
asset.
How many real quick, how many people are searching for all-in-one paint for even initially for another brand? Do you have
Well, I'm
that
so
data?
glad they keep putting that in their product name because it keeps driving me good organic growth.
Yeah,
So,
that's
but
amazing. Anyways,
they think they're knocking us off. So yeah, I just hope they keep adding it into there and
they
put the
will.
word in front of it. So they are. Anyway, that little play that played well into my hand, buying that URL and thinking about the simplicity of that and building everything into the paint, I've searched out a dowel chemist and found a guy. Told him what I wanted the paint to do, and he says, "You don't want much, do you?" I said, "I want it to stretch." I know there's abilities out there that resins today have primers built in and they can stretch and bend without cracking and breaking and all that stuff. And he was like, "Oh, yeah, there are. I can start." So 2 years into that, paying this man monies I had to scrape up to even get together, he comes up with this formula. So from there, I thought, now I've got to talk about this and simplify the message. And of course, that meant cutting off the other brand, which meant cutting off my revenue and dollars. Not an easy thing to do. Let me tell you, it almost cost my husband his sanity, and cutting off retailers and all that stuff. But I had to make a decision. It was one of those things I couldn't serve two gods. I couldn't serve the people trying to buy wholesale from me, buying one product, and then I'm talking out of my mouth a simple way to do it, selling them a hard way to do it. It was just very much a crossroads in our business. So we could have closed the doors, but we rolled on with it. And I decided then that I was going to go direct to the consumer after going through some tough financial times, and decided that this was the way to go was e-com, because I knew that's what was going to happen. I could feel it. I could see the momentum in ever changing landscape just outside the door, how many businesses were closing, and also the big push toward Amazon, because at this time Amazon was in its infancy and very few people, including myself, had even downloaded the Amazon app. I thought of Amazon as a competitor at that point, and I was looking at them going, well, my product's not on Amazon, don't even know how to get on Amazon at that moment. So I finally got my product onto Amazon. I remember making the first sale of my paint on Amazon. It was like a $50 sale. I was like, oh my goodness, people are really going to buy our product on Amazon. And today it's making up the mix is changing all the time. It's making up about 65% of our sales daily is Amazon. So it used to be the inverse of that. So I see
That,
Amazon coming on, and Amazon is actually going to be here Monday shooting a video about the growth of my business.
that's
And they've
amazing.
sent out a team here to Kentucky to film us and just share our story of growth. Starting off in a little rural town in Kentucky, growing into
Amazing. I mean,
a giant.
as we were chatting before, I work with a lot of brands on Amazon, and still I'm baffled. Really, I shouldn't say I'm baffled, but your product is never like I would never think paint on Amazon, right? And
No.
I'm more CPG, like I said, I'm more non-perishable grocery, that side of things. But
Mm-hmm.
when I saw it, I'm like, what a great niche, because
Sure.
it's intimidating to do via e-commerce for all, for a variety of reasons. But when
Yes.
when you started e-commerce,
Hmm.
shipping stuff on eBay out of your kitchen, were you
Yes.
just reselling products, or had you already created heirloom traditions,
I
the
had already
chalk based?
created Heirloom Traditions in
Okay.
2013, I think. Oh God, I'm terrible with dates. Um, I created the brand, and my husband opened up the account, and we did the whole thing. But never dreaming again that it was going to be a business. I would have never named it Heirloom Traditions that somebody couldn't spell nor say.
Right.
But after the fact, it's kind of been a good name. I was trying to make something memorable, and ultimately, it is. But you never know what something's going to be, right? You don't know as you're starting walking this path where this is headed. I never thought it was going to be anything for me, for my job either. I was never creating this. I was working in New York City as a commercial designer, doing well, and this was just something I was doing for fun for my son. Like I said, he just trying to get him engaged in something, and he had no desire to do anything paint related. I was pushing him to do it because I said, "Hey, it's a business. Let me teach you the 101s of business. This is a good little fun way to do it." And as it began to grow and multiply, I finally this was a good thing. I know everybody out here is interested in ecom and just the things and the steps you take in business here. I remember having this kind of an awakening moment for me, sitting thinking, this is definitely different to me. I've always owned retail stores, sit and watched a door, waiting on customers to physically walk into the door. This was the first time in my life at probably 51 years old that I had made a website that I was selling something 24/7, wake up to sales on eBay or wherever these pieces were I was selling the paint. And I'd wake up to these sales, and it was such a different emotion and such a different energy that was coming from it. It was like a feeding frenzy. I was always begging people to come into a physical door, running ads, billboards, newspaper, whatever, to get people to drive to my store. Now all of a sudden, I got people banging on my digital door. Let me in. I want to buy that stuff. Can I get some more? Can I get some more? It was amazing. Just a total flip of how. So if you're out there contemplating getting into the e-commerce world, I can't encourage you enough. It is now or never. I think everything's going to be e-com. So.
Yeah,
Uh,
and just to put context to that, and correct me if I'm wrong, if I have my numbers wrong, you're the number one selling e-commerce direct to consumer paint in the country,
yes,
and
we
the
are
23rd largest paint company in the
in
country,
North America.
in North
Hmm.
America, right?
Yes.
So you have been, um, you're ahead of the curve as it relates to e-commerce, right? But it seems like you're doing a few things right.
I
You
hope
you
so.
have you have a quality product. Your placement has always been e-commerce direct to consumer focused, which is
Mhm.
now the major push. but you also have a social media element that's promoting the e-commerce based direct to consumer
Hmm.
sales. So I mean,
Hmm.
how did you build that whole package? Because we see it now 13 years in the making. It's like Paula has checked every box. But I'm
Hmm.
sure as you've built the business, it was a learning process and you had to add pieces in and then take pieces out. So
Sure.
how do you have such a
Always.
so how do you how what was the thought process and what was the journey like to actually build that what I see as almost a complete e-commerce package now?
Well, thank you. I'll
You're
take that as
welcome.
a
You're
compliment, Joe.
welcome.
You know your
Yeah.
stuff. You know what? You can listening to all of that and hearing every word you said. I will say what has differentiated my brand from others, the big guys, including Rust-Oleums of the world and whoever. They are not customer focused. I'm customer 100% customer focused on seeing my customer be successful. And that means I spend my time, my valuable time, teaching them how to use my products and getting results that they're trying to get. And I talk to them. I literally, I did a video night before last. I had 112,000 views overnight in 12 hours, 112,000 views. It had 3,900 people talking back to me during that. And all of them are asking for they have customer they want to know something, right? And I have the resources and I have people in my business and we try to answer those questions. How many retailers do you know that are up at night doing that? You know anybody doing that? You know anybody at Rust-Oleum that's over there answering anybody's question?
I
uh,
think you have to be the most recognizable person in paint. I mean, by and large, right? I mean, who else
Nobody else is stupid enough to put their name on it, right?
what well, I mean, really though, I mean, but see, I think what's so brilliant with what you're doing is paint historically has been a
Commodity.
niche. Yeah, with no real brand recognition. I mean, of course, if you're a contractor or a painter, you like your
Hmm.
Benjamin Moores or your Rust-Oleums, etc. But to the
Hmm.
common folk, just a wife wanting to do a Saturday project,
Sure.
there's been no real strong brand affiliation, and I see that's what you're
Been a
doing
few.
here.
There's been
Yeah,
a few.
but not to your level. I mean, I think you
Well,
have over a
thank you.
million
That's sweet.
followers on Facebook. I see you on TikTok. You're actually well, and I'm interested to get your thoughts on what's going to happen with TikTok. But you're even selling through TikTok now,
We sell a little bit everywhere. We
right?
want to find customers where we want to meet them where they are. A lot
Yeah,
of younger folks are over there now. Not just young people are on TikTok. Everybody, we're all over there. I enjoy TikTok, but uh, we try to, like I said, meet customers where they are, and our product works for everyone. So we can't say, well, that's not a platform for us because anyone who has a home or lives in any kind of a home can use paint in some
exactly.
fashion, either for furniture, cabinets, or things that are attached or not attached. So our customer is everyone, male and female. Of course, our
Sure.
largest audience are female, but
Sure. Well, I showed my wife when I told my wife I was going to speak with you. I pulled up your website and showed her the colors, and her first reaction was, "Ooh, love this one. Love this one. This is the color that I want for the bedroom."
we're
Because
gonna you have to order her a sample.
I'm
You know
going
that,
to. It's
right?
that I don't know the exact color, but those like flat, like bluish gray tones are really popular now.
Haven's
Right.
a great one. Check that
So
out.
Haven is the
Haven,
one I should. I
blue. It's a blue, but it's a gray undertone, muted.
Yeah, that's
So,
that's exactly it.
mhm.
So as you're scaling this business on e-commerce, specifically Amazon, like you said, it's a main channel. There's a lot of elements that go into that. There's fulfillment, there's marketing, there's SEO and keyword research, there's
Mhm.
graphics. What are you doing for all of these things? Are you hiring freelancers? Are you
Oh,
building a team internally? Are you learning
internally,
internally? So when
yes.
you need to build a marketing strategy, you're hiring a PPC marketing specialist internally?
I have a marketing specialist, absolutely the best one ever that I just recently hired, and he's been phenomenal already. He came on with us beginning of December of this year, so first December we've ever had with this much growth. Normally December's a slower month for us, but he really understands ecom and
Mhm.
how to grow it in every facet. Things we've never done that he's taking us into is Mountain, Ryan Reynolds Network. We're going to be doing some television ads there. I'm also going to be on QVC. I'm going to touch some customers there that are in my age demographics. So there's 165 million households there. And QVC is having me on in March. So you'll see us there and just all kinds of things that help us spread out. You always have to be looking for new eyeballs. Of course, Facebook's our number one driver of new eyeballs and old ones too. Everybody there comes to see us there. They know us there, and we have millions of followers, not just on Facebook. We have a half a million people in a private Facebook group, and then we have a million public followers on that platform. And we touch about 7 million people on Pinterest, and then it's pretty vast out there when you start thinking about how many people follow a paint page. So yeah, it's
As I'm
never ending.
talking to you more, and I know money isn't your core motivation, but I'm reminded of the saying, "Leave no money on the table." It seems like it seems like you are really internally, your business focus is to meet them where they are and
Mhm.
capture every opportunity, irregardless of the channel. Would you say that's a fair summation of your thought process?
Yes, it is, and but I will say this: I'd be lying if I said money is not my focus. It is. It has to be my focus
Sure.
because it's not me personally that I'm focused on, but I have a tremendous amount of employees and their families, so I have to focus on driving the business. For me personally, after you have money and you have access to money, it becomes kind of a moot point. You don't even think about money anymore. There's no things that I need or want, or I'm not sitting around here longing for something I don't get. So my focus has never been on what can I buy me. My focus is on how do we drive this dang business and how do we keep making money and not worry about somebody eating our lunch. So I like to stay 10 days ahead, 10 steps ahead, and working on the next best thing we're always needing to do. So well, you can't get satisfied and you can't say, well, we're doing enough. Some people in the business, most people in the business will have that attitude, but I, as the CEO and as the owner and the founder of the business, I am always seeking the next best thing, looking for the next brass ring we're grabbing onto because I can't get satisfied. And that doesn't mean I'm not personally satisfied. That means the business cannot get stagnant. I look at business one way. If it's not growing, it's dying. It's
Mm.
going backwards. And somebody over there is trying to figure out every single day how to beat me at this game. So that drives me to not let somebody beat me at this game. So
N-
I'm working day and night over here, innovating,
Now,
making
how
something.
how does purchasing the manufacturing plant play into that? Because a lot of people who are e-commerce focused are very comfortable with just having it manufactured somewhere else, manufactured in China, right? I mean, you've seen this,
Wow.
right?
You
But
better hang on
yeah,
tight,
right,
brothers,
but
because you're getting ready to figure this shit out
right,
because that chicken's coming home to
right.
roost right
So
there.
now, so you
I'll
buy a
give you a good example of that. Let
please
me
go
give you
ahead.
guys a good example. I know a lot of y'all are doing this arbitrage or whatever you
Yep.
call it.
Yeah.
Let me tell you how that one really works. I have a great friend of mine here in Louisville. Met him at that PayPal conference I was telling you
Mm,
about.
okay.
Met this guy. He comes up to me and tells me how much he's selling, right? And he was way bigger than me. He had many, many, many employees. He was buying vinyl like that runs through a Cricut machine, cutting it up and selling it in small pieces, like you wanted a piece of red, yellow, blue, green, whatever. And so he did that for a lot of years and he was very successful at that. He grew his business enormously. He bought several different companies and kind of brought them all under one umbrella and really was trying to vertically integrate his business. He didn't manufacture anything. And that those people in China that he was buying that vinyl product off of took his keywords and started selling all the vinyl direct for $1 a foot. What they were charging him, they started selling it for because now they figured out how to get things and land them cheap. So they're coming after you. I buy brushes, and the company that I buy the brushes from sell them on Amazon against me every single day. They
It's a
sure do.
major issue with manufacturers and
Mhm.
distributors and suppliers going right to direct to consumer.
You're showing them how.
R-
Listen, they're not stupid. They just watch
No.
how much you buy from them. They go, "Oh, this one doing good.
Yeah.
Let me go over here and see how much he's selling it for." Oh, yeah, they can do math. And then they come back and then they put it right on there and use your keywords. They can know how to do that too. And Amazon is allowing them to bring their products in without any kind of legalities. They're not having to meet any kind of regs like I do, paint care, all those things, those add-on things that I have to pay as a United States person. They don't have any of those regs on them, which is absolutely wrong. And nobody's looking at the components of their products, if they're dangerous or harmful for people to even be breathing the fumes. They don't even put a single thing on their label.
Mm.
That's where it's wrong.
And
But
now
they're
by
ruthless.
by you buying the manufacturing
Hmm.
facility now, right? Which,
Hmm.
from what I understand, you were purchasing from a manufacturer, and then you had the opportunity to go upstream and actually buy that plant.
Well, it
That
wasn't necessarily not. It wasn't as sweet as it sounds there, But I took the opportunity because I knew if I was, you can't be in my position and be riding in the back seat. You got to be driving the car. So
Right.
I knew the price of poker was going to continue to go up and up and up because they too were looking at my retail. They too knew what they were wholesaling it to me for. They could figure out how much it cost to package it and the things I was doing. So they kept raising the price up over there on that side. So my margins were getting smaller and smaller and
Yep.
smaller. Then there would always be the questions of what's real here and what's not. Well, all of a sudden TiO2 has gone up. It's now doubled what it was. Well, I didn't know any of that stuff. How could I even argue those points with them? It's say, well, the paint's really gone up. The price of manufacturing your products has doubled. I mean, all I could do was just pay them, right?
Yeah.
Because they held the purse. So yes, we took the opportunity. I was either going to make paint myself in my facilities and add on to my plant and do it. I just went to the owner there, who actually was widowed. The owner passed away, left it to his wife, and she had never been in the business. So I just approached her and said, "I'm either going to make paint in Taylorsville or I'm going to buy you, whichever way you want to do it." And she didn't like that too good, but she ultimately sold it to me. So
But now you
I was
have
either
to
leaving or
eh,
buying it, one or
eh,
the other.
but now you have to learn you have to learn the manufacturing business as well. So I mean, what was that like? Did you immediately hire a plant manager, or are
No,
you
all the
more of
employees stayed. All
all,
the employees stayed. The
okay, so
ones I
you
wanted to stay stayed. None of the
amazing.
management team, none of those folks stayed. We let all those folks go.
But the
But none of the
craftsmen were
marketing
there.
team. I kept all the manufacturing folks there and all the
Amazing.
great team that they had and the strength of the business. I kept the backbone of the business. I kept the bloodsuckers. I let go. So those people are still with us and kept some of the greatest guys ever that have really never been recognized for the things they had done. So they are right now. I'm selling off those buildings and moving my plant down to Taylorsville. Down now, we have two different campuses, 30 miles apart. So I've got two groups of people working two places. So I'm trying to bring them all under one roof, building out brand new state of the art facilities, new equipment, no recycling our water, nothing getting into the air. I mean, all kinds of beautiful things that we're doing there, just making it uber safe and cost effective to manufacture paint and in the best, greenest possible way.
Now,
So,
these
doing all of that.
manufacturing processes, are they custom solutions? Because I'm assuming your
Yes.
process, right? You have a specific product, right? A unique
Yes.
product, which means that you're not going to be able to go buy just any machine, right? It has to be specific. So,
That's
which
why I bought
also,
that plant. I could have gone out and made up a plant and created a product, but I couldn't afford my product to differ in the marketplace. I didn't want to make a product that might have a little variance. I want to make sure it's made on the same made in the same process
sure,
because it's just like baking a cake. I couldn't afford mine to taste different, so I
sure,
made sure there was no variable. I needed to buy that plant, even if I had my formula. It had changed and migrated over the years as they lose suppliers and raw material suppliers. They're never going to call me up and say, "Hey, we're using a different resin in your paint now." They weren't telling me those variables. You see what I'm saying?
yeah,
Even though I gave them this, that don't mean they were making it
right,
exactly like I thought they were because I
right.
wasn't in that process. They kept that all hidden from me. So now I get to see exactly how it's made, and we need to continue on status quo and never make changes. Or if we do, it's an innovation. I have three chemists. I have three chemists that are fabulous, and they're constantly working on developing and looking at alternatives and ways to make the product better. That is my daily focus: is how we keep our products state of the art. I want them to maintain the best and over deliver. Whenever I tell someone it's a superior product, I mean what I say. I want it to be. And I know people love to talk about something that works.
Now, it seems to me like your business has gone through several periods of really large expansion, right? And
A lot.
I don't think that we're even near I think that in the next 5 years, you're going to have another 100, 200, 300% growth based on everything that you're doing via e-commerce. But
Right.
as you know, expansion requires capital. So how do you think about funding this expansion? Is it all internal? Are you comfortable with debt if it's used appropriately? Because that's always a major hurdle with manufacturing facilities, buying businesses. It's specifically if you are going to see revenue growths
hmm
in the future.
Oh, I got a great one for you. So that plant that I purchased, right?
Yep.
They were in the wholesale business. They went to trade shows and marketed just like you say when you go to those shows,
Hmm.
exactly the old school ways, carrying people's accounts payable for months and months and months, charging no interest, getting paid at random and sundry times, carrying sometimes early buy. They manufactured swimming pool paint. They were the largest manufacturer of Olympic brand and sold it to a lot of big customers out there, and they would carry some of those notes for 6 months. Set on the product, set on the money. So Paula, mean Paula, me, I fired all those customers day two of owning that business, cut them all loose, and they thought I'm insane, which is fine. But I want my business to be a cash flow business, not a cash suck business. And my business, thank God, was in the business of when I sell something, I got paid for it. So with that, there is a little, you get a little flush with cash, so you can do some building, but not if you're a bank. Not if you're a bank that charges no interest in this world. So that business downtown, the plant we bought, they were a bank. Some of their customers were owned by the largest VCs in the world, but yet they let them ride them as a bank because they thought they were such a valuable customer. Truth is, they were all underwater on all their deals, completely underwater, which is insane. I was the only customer they were making money on. Can you believe that? So, anyway, all that said, it was easy to let them go because all I did was take all the products and put them right on Amazon where they needed to be so customers can find them. They don't have to go to a store to buy the pool paint now. They can go on Amazon and find everything they need and ship it to their front door.
And that pool paint is Camcoat. Is that where Camcoat?
Actually, Olympic. Olympic
Oh,
is the brand.
okay. What is Camcoat and where does that fit into the product line?
Camcoat is the brand, is the name of the plant. Now,
Okay.
since when we bought it out, it was a family name before. We own that name still, but we didn't want to continue to fly that family flag, so we just
Sure.
named it our own brand name. And my last name is Cameron, so we named it Camcoat.
And those product lines are specific for swimming pools? Because
They're
again,
the
I'm
world's largest swimming pool manufacturer, so now we are. I don't know if they gave that title to themselves, but I'll say we're a big part of the swimming pool paint world.
that's amazing. Something else that you said there that I just want to double click on is it seems like you're comfortable with making tough decisions, right?
Well,
Firing on day two, da 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 da.
I am.
Did you always have that internal fortitude, or is it something that over the past decade the business you've grown into it, right? Because as a business owner, you are responsible for making the toughest decisions,
Hard
right? It's
decisions.
like
That was a
right,
hard decision.
yeah,
Well, I'm all of a sudden, thrust in a woman thrust into a male world, male dominated world in the manufacturing side, also in the coatings industry. There's not a whole lot of women in my position. So, first thing, getting on calls with these people that you're talking to that run these Fortune 500 companies that are buying your product, and you tell them that you no longer want to do business with them. I mean, he talked to me pretty rough, so it wasn't very hard for me to drop the hatchet on him. Trust me, I enjoyed that one really well.
yeah.
Um, you know,
He had it coming.
he had it coming. Yes, he did, because there they were not paying interest on this money for 6 months, and then they'd pay us, and they'd figure out a way that they didn't want to pay all the invoice, and you have to go back through all the accounting. It just wasn't. You have to go back through forensic accounting to figure out why they weren't paying. It's just through EDI, just a mess. I just don't want that kind of business. I bought that plant to make my products, and I didn't buy it to make other people's paint, so it was easy for me. I already had that plan, but if they'd been profitable, I would have probably kept them on for a little bit longer. But the brands had their own recognition. So, all of that said, it was easy. It was an easy thing to put them online because that's where I knew customers were searching for these brands. I mean, they were the Kleenex to, uh, you know, paper
Yeah, to
products.
runny
So,
noses. Yeah,
to running noses. That's right. So,
yeah.
they didn't know that, but I did. I already knew they had brand recognition. There were 11 people selling the pool paint, unauthorized, selling it on Amazon. So I cut
Mm.
all those people off, cleaned it up, and put it over there ourselves so we can control the brand.
The unauthorized is a major issue for brand. Back to the distributors and manufacturers selling, and now you
Mm.
have the unauthorized on the other end too.
There they
So
were.
there's situations where you could, the candle can burn at both ends, and your margin is just gone, right?
Well, here's how you clean it up. If you're the manufacturer, and unless you're being knocked off or somebody's relabeling something using your IP, then who it is. It's easy to figure out.
Yeah.
Don't ship it to anybody. You want to clean up all the unauthorized sellers, stop shipping the shit to people, And if you're the only one sending it out, it's real easy to figure out who's doing it, right?
Yeah, amazing. So I just
Mhm.
have one more question. I know that currently Amazon is about 65% of your business,
It is
and
today.
e-commerce is 99% or 100%. Could you
100%. Well,
100?
we sell some wholesale still to mom and pop swimming pool people,
Sure.
but it's very small.
So what does the next 5 years look for you via e-commerce in your opinion? Do you think it's still going to
100%
be
e-com.
do you think
100%
it's still
e-com.
going to be heavily Amazon based? Do you want to
Yes, it
make a
is.
pivot at some point? What are your thoughts over the next 5 to 10 years?
Well, I always want to maintain my website, obviously. I want to make sure that I can keep up with my customers and who they are and who are using our products. But like I said, I went out to the accelerator event and really kind of I didn't well, I did kind of make a little bit of a deal with them. You know, we're putting and flying the Amazon flag on our website, allowing customers to go to Amazon and purchase our products, even though we will ship them. And we're already in the FBA, but if we don't have a particular color in FBA, it will still ship from the warehouses in Amazon. So it helps me deliver my product quicker. The world has become pretty complacent with the idea that you're going to take 5 days for them to get something or 10 or whatever. They're just not going to deal with that. So that doesn't, I can't scale my business to that level once I kind of hit that plateau. I'm in a small town. Space becomes an issue. We're just now adding on 30,000 square feet to our building. We just purchased a building behind us here. There's no way I can continue to physically grow the business to keep up with the demand. I have to figure out something else. Amazon is a great entree to helping me scale the business to get products in people's hands like they want them. And it allows us to geo fence off areas that we can deliver to, and then lets them take it the extra mile to get it into people's hands in one day. That's what people are getting ready to demand is a 1 day delivery, not three, not two, one. And Amazon knows that. So they're they're going to own all the shipping routes. You're going to have to let them be your partner, and they also have the eyeballs. I can't financially probably just Facebook ads alone to drive people to your ecom site. I get up every day and look at Amazon. You don't have to drive me over there. I'm already over there. So think of the
Exactly.
value of that.
Yeah.
How much did that cost? And then think of the other partner that Amazon is. In the bottom, if I've purchased your product, a consumable, like what you sell, drinks and so on, it shows me in the bottom, are you out of that? You need some more? Oh, man, hey, what kind of reminder is that? Man, oh man, that is so valuable that they're reminding people, hey, don't forget, this is that paint brand you bought over here. If you liked it, you're going to keep seeing it there. Go, yeah, I'm going to paint my bedroom. I forgot about that. Go ahead and add that to the cart. I mean, that's invaluable. So for that
Yeah.
reason, I love Amazon for those. There are some negatives, and there's always going to be negatives, but it's you can make good out of it. I do believe so.
You have to. You definitely can make good out of it, and specifically the way you're doing it, because it sounds like you're also using the multi-channel fulfillment, where
We are.
right. So there's a lot of ways where if you just like you said, look at the cost of you shipping a quart of paint versus using Amazon. You would go broke if you had to do it all of yourself between warehousing and storage and building new locations and paying shipping,
At some
etc.
point, yes, you
Yeah,
can't continue to grow it. You're going to grow to a point, and then you're stopping,
exactly. And you have to
unless you
get
keep building
creative.
another building, and,
Yeah,
and then I'm going to have to hire import people out of to come down to
yeah,
Taylorsville from another town because you're going to end up sucking up all the labor pool here.
yeah,
So
exactly.
there's an attrition to it all. So you have to continue to figure out how do we scale the business, and Amazon gives us a perfect
Yeah.
avenue to scale.
Well, Paula, thank you so much for your time. It was a great conversation. You're an
Thank you,
amazing
Joe.
business person.
Oh, you're
I,
so
I love
sweet.
your story. I'm going to keep watching what you're doing and
All
learn
right.
from it. And I know I won't see you at any more trade shows, right? Because
You
you're
will
not.
not see me at a
But
trade show.
I'm
That you
hoping.
can take home.
I'm hoping the next time we talk, the business is 50% bigger and you're doing all kinds of things, which I know you will. So thank you so
Thank
much for
you.
everything.
Thank you so much. I appreciate
Oh,
you having me.
amazing, amazing.